Hi, hello my friends. It's Christy with 4am Junk Journals. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. I am working in my casebook today. We are working on the case of Who Killed Gilbert McCabe. This is the 5th case in the On the Case Challenge or Open Collaboration. We did 4 cases in 2023. Those would be the cases of Who Killed Mrs. Worthington, who was a elderly artist, Who Killed Sherman Black, and Sherman was a he owned a bar, and Who Killed Polly O'Malley, in which we kind of stepped back into the past, into 19th century London, and had a case that very much resembled the Jack the Ripper cases. In fact, actually the case involved the ghost of Jack the Ripper. And then the case of Who Killed the Schaefers, which actually remains open, and we will be returning to that one at a later time as things develop. And in that case, we had Jack and Tiffany Schaefer murdered in their home, and then their house was set on fire, apparently to cover up the crime. But this is the first case in 2024 with our new hashtag On the Case 2024. In this case, we are trying to discover who killed Gilbert McCabe. Now, Gilbert McCabe was a renowned author of children's horror novels. Very well known, very respected, very successful. And he was kind of a different sort of guy. The kind of person you would expect to be writing horror novels, right? He was kind of mysterious. Some people called him a little strange. He was kind of a loner. He very reclusive. Just kind of mysterious, right? And we'll continue that in just a second. I just want to show you where my casebook is so far. So this is the last time you saw this. I had created the cover, but had not yet sewn in the signatures or anything. I have sewn in the signatures. There are 12. Originally, I thought there would be 10, but the spine was just so large. And I could actually add a 13th, and probably will, just for the sake of having 13 signatures, right? But I was kind of holding off to see how big she was going to get. I purchased these adorable magnifying glasses on Amazon. I got 20 of them. And I just attached one with some... what is this, like twine, I think is what it's called, here on the side. I'll add some other things to this dangle, but that's kind of where it is so far. And then I created this cover that says Who Killed Gilbert McCabe. I just love the way that turned out. That book is so awesome. I do have a little pocket here. It's just got some stuff in it that I was working with for backing stuff. But and then if you go here, I've got the On the Case 2024, and then if you this is part of my paper that I keep here under my stuff. It's newsprint. It's just a huge tablet of newsprint. But if you pull this out, I've started kind of a crime board style thing. I'm including some little horror characters because he's an author of children's horror, right? But I've got Gilbert here, and then I've got the library. I have Eleanor Sinclair, who was his former editor. I've got Evelyn Marsh, who is the head librarian. Marcus Blackthorne is the library curator and owner of the library. I have William Turner, the library custodian. Lila McCabe is the victim's daughter. Margaret McCabe is his wife. Nora Thompson was the town resident who we have interviewed as a witness. And Henry McCabe is the victim's brother. And then if you go back a little further in here, we have the victim. And in this section so far, this is all I have. I have Gilbert here in his little library corner. Got a little bit of bubbling there, but that's okay. I've got his name, and then I made a little pocket here. Now, the novel that he's currently working on is called Shadows in the Attic. I have recreated a page of it here. These are all the scattered pages of his book, which we'll talk some more about in a minute. And then this has got kind of a paragraph out of his book here. It says, "Is someone there?" Ella's voice was barely a whisper, lost amid the creaks and groans of the old house. She shivered, feeling a sudden chill that wasn't just from the drafty attic. As she reached for the trunk, a low growl rumbled through the darkness, freezing her in place. The sound was primal, filled with a hunger that seemed to seep into the very air. Ella's eyes widened in terror as two gleaming amber eyes appeared from the shadows, fixating on her with an intense, unblinking stare. So that's part of Gilbert's newest novel. Then we flip back halfway through this signature and we have the crime scene, which you guys just saw me glue this down. And then I'll put in more information on the crime scene here. That's all I've got done in this one so far. There is another pocket here in the back. So yeah, I hope you'll forgive me if I'm start repeating myself. I've tried 3 times this morning to film this video. I can't remember what I've already said. So we're just going to move on like I know what I'm talking about and hope that I do. All right. So I think we were talking about, we had just talked for a minute about Gilbert, kind of his personality. And so he was found at 11:45 at night in this library where he liked to work. And I can't remember if I've already told you guys about the library in this version of this video. So this library is kind of a mysterious library. It's kind of a hole-in-the-wall style place. It's privately owned by the library's curator, who is Marcus Blackthorne. So it's privately owned. It keeps weird hours, so it's open till, you know, midnight, 1 a.m. It's kind of, it's very mysterious. Keeps kind of a strange collection of books. It's one of those places that you think about when you think about a mysterious little library, right? And so it's a place that Gilbert gets a lot of inspiration, and he likes to work there. Liked to work there. He's gone now. And so he spent a lot of hours there, and so much so, in fact, that they had kind of his own little area set up for him to work in, right? So he was very, he was a frequent visitor to this library, almost on a daily basis, according to his wife and daughter. And so he was found at 11:45 at night on December the 27th, 2023, in this library by the library's curator. And he had been stabbed through the heart with, with an antique quill. So, yeah. So he had been stabbed through the heart with this antique quill. Now this library, which is located at 653 Spirit End Road in Ravenwood, Georgia, just called Ravenwood Library. Oh, I'm just stumbling all over my words. I'm so sorry. He was found, again, stabbed through the heart with this antique quill. It was kind of the scene was kind of something ripped out of one of his horror novels. He had pages of his own books scattered around him, kind of like a scene had been set up from his books. And so it was all kind of very mysterious and strange, and looked like potentially, I don't know, maybe a fan who didn't like something that happened in one of his books, or, it looked very staged. So we did talk with Marcus, who found the body, and Marcus didn't really have a lot to offer us. He had no obvious connection to the murder, not a whole lot of information to give. Marcus is a little bit different as well. He's got a very mysterious air to himself as well. He's got kind of an old world style speech, but a mysterious old world style speech, like, if you guys were around for the Polly O'Malley case, something very similar to the way they would have talked, right? I mean, he's just something very similar to the way that the psychic spoke in that case. I mean, he's very, very mysterious and mystical, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So we talked with him. We also interviewed Evelyn Marsh. Now, Evelyn Marsh is the head librarian, and she doesn't think very much of Gilbert. She found his novels to be chaotic for the library, probably largely because he was so popular and spent so much time in the library. It was known that he spent so much time in the library, so I'm sure that they got a lot of fan-style traffic from that. So she didn't really like him. She said that he just caused a lot of disruption through his books. Now, whether that had to do specifically with the genre that he wrote in, or just in general because he was so popular, we don't actually know. We can only speculate, which is what I'm doing, that it has to do with that chaos that revolves around having a popular writer, a well-known figure in your establishment. So that was pretty much all Evelyn had to offer us, was just this peek into her own personal feelings for about Gilbert. Now, whether that was enough to warrant in her mind murder, we don't know, but it certainly is enough that we cannot rule her out as a suspect, I would think. And so for me anyway, she is definitely on my suspect list. We spoke with William Turner. Now, William Turner is the library's custodian. He didn't have much interaction with McCabe. He just kind of, he knew him, obviously, would speak to him in passing. Didn't really, just didn't really have much interaction with him. And then we also spoke with a town resident by the name of Nora Thompson. Now, Nora is kind of one of those people who kind kind of always knows what's going on in town, right? She says she's not nosy. She keeps an eye on things, right? Well, Nora likes to walk around at night and was doing so on, so on the night of the murder, around 7 p.m., Miss Thompson says that she was out walking her dog, Mr. Whiskers, and she saw a shadowy figure around the library and heard some shuffling noises. She said it was too dark to really get a good look at anything. She got scared and ran home when she heard the noises. But it's enough to make us kind of question, you know, who was it? What was going on there, right? And she also tells us that there's always something strange going on around that library. That there's always something weird happening, which we're not overly surprised about given the nature of the library and the things that we already know, right? But she does reinforce that notion that the library is a little bit of a weird place. Okay, so that was all the interviews that we did on the first, what we're calling the first day. They were all actually done in the wee early hours of the morning of the 28th. But those were all covered in week 1 of the case. So what I'm doing here is I am kind of creating a gnarled post, which is going to hold the library's sign. So I felt like it needed to be kind of a gnarly old post. And I just used some leftover page from what I had been working with. And then I think I'm going to just put it on here. It's a little bit large for what I want. Okay. So we're going to kind of go like this. That's better. So I'm debating if I want to use like a post here, or the other thing I could do is no, I think I definitely want to do the post. So I think we'll put it like right about here. And then we're just going to there. Maybe it's still a little large. Okay. Let's set that to the side for the moment. So, where was I? Okay, so we talked with Nora, and she did tell us, you know, she saw something. She's not sure what it was. It was just a shadowy figure around 7 p.m. the night of the murder. And she heard this shuffling noise, which kind of scared her and sent her running home. Now, understand that, again, it was a very, very stormy evening and night. Now, at the time that she was out walking, it might not have been so heavy storming, but the whole night was one of a lot of storms. And we also interviewed members of McCabe's family. We interviewed his wife, Margaret. And Margaret said that, you know, she had a supportive, good relationship with her husband. You know, as with any marriage, she mentioned there were some conflicts, complexities, you know, but it was just a good marriage and no significant things that we should be aware of or concerned about. Now, again, this is according to Margaret, who obviously, if she had anything to do with the marriage, or I'm sorry, with the marriage, obviously she had something to do with the marriage. If she had anything to do with the murder, wouldn't probably tell us so, right? So we kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, but I definitely can't rule her out based on the information she gave us, but she is describing, you know, generally a good marriage. We spoke with Lila McCabe, who is the daughter of the victim. She says she had a strained relationship with her dad. He was kind of an absent father, and their relationship was not, did not sound to be close at all. She had no knowledge of any specific conflicts that he had with anyone. Nothing that, you know, she could used to shed light on the investigation, but it was a promising conversation in that we know that we cannot, again, rule her out as a suspect. We spoke with his brother, Henry McCabe. Now, Henry has been estranged from Gilbert for several years. Has no knowledge whatsoever of any conflicts, concerns, or anything, because he says he hasn't spoken to his brother in years. There was no indication really as to why, but we do know that they were estranged. And Henry is a successful lawyer, so he's very knowledgeable in the law. Which leads me to think he would also be pretty knowledgeable in what to say and what not to say. So again, in my mind, not someone we could rule out. Now, mind you, these are my thoughts, and you may or may not agree with me, and that's okay. Okay, so we did interview his former editor, whose name is Eleanor Sinclair. And Miss Sinclair basically told us that that she and Gilbert had a difference of opinion regarding the direction that his work should take, and that because of this difference of opinion, they kind of split ways. She says that she doesn't talk with him anymore and hasn't spoken with him in quite some time. So she doesn't really have any information to give us regarding regarding any recent conflicts or anything like that. Okay, sorry about that. So I think I'm gonna have to check my camera's battery here in a second. We may have to take a break because it was low when I started this video, and I've been recording. This is again my third try. So I've been recording for quite some time this morning. So I may need to check that here in a minute and see. And we might need to take a break, but I will come back as soon as I can if that's the case. So I messed that up. I should have put the Ravenwood further down on the sign where the thing isn't covering it, but I'm gonna let it go anyway and just put it on there like that. Now I just have to figure out how I'm gonna connect it and make it stay as 3D as it is. Some heavier duty glue than what I've got. I'm also going to kind of hammer this a little bit. Oh yeah, just like that. All right, I like it. Okay, I'm gonna go and put my phone on the charger for a bit. I will come back and we will continue from that point. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I think we have enough battery now to last us throughout the rest of the video. Okay, so I went ahead and I, hopefully this is in frame. Let me double check. Okay, so I went ahead and I just glued this down. And then what I did was I went over it a little bit with some walnut stain, a distress stain from Tim Holtz. And I went over our like gnarled piece of post here. And I did a little bit as well on the Ravenwood Library sign. I didn't want to do too much because I didn't want to cover up the words. Oh, and that was the other thing. I just flipped that sign over and rewrote it so that the brad wasn't covering that up. Okay, so what I want to do on this page is I'm going to turn it into a notes page, so things about the crime scene. So I've got another piece of my paper that I've been using, and I'm going to just glue this down here as a background. So let's do that. So where did we leave off in our conversation? We were talking about the interviews that were done. And now I want to talk just a moment about some forensic evidence. So we have started we did get preliminary reports on the quill pen, and what else was it? I don't remember. Well, we got a preliminary, the security footage. Those were the two preliminary reports we got. Now, the quill pen is being sent for DNA analysis. So we will be getting some forensic analysis on that, as well as any fingerprints that were found. So we're waiting for that information. We don't have that yet, but it is coming. And hopefully we will have more information on that soon. As well as the security footage, it was limited due to the technical issues that were caused by the storm, because as I've said several times, it was extremely stormy that day, or that night. And so We are waiting for them to kind of try and clean that up a little bit and see if there's anything that we can still get from it. It's not looking real promising at this point, but we're trying. Let's see, the last time that Gilbert was seen on that security footage would have been about 9:15 that night, when he moved from kind of that area where his little setup is to some shelves, some, you know, in the shelving section of the library. That was the last time that he was seen on the security footage. So we are hoping that we can get that footage to, you know, clean up enough to show us something else, but don't know whether that will happen. So this, you know, kind of this kind of like incomplete footage is going to be a challenge. We were really counting on that security footage to help us out with the investigation, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge. As well as, I mean, at this stage in the investigation, we really don't have anything to go on. Nobody has given us any clear motives, or and we have a few people that, as I have said, I personally could not rule out. I think there are probably some motives out there, but nothing that really stands out as being motive enough to murder someone, right? We've got just a few little conflicts here and there, but nothing that seems significant. So at this stage, that's a little bit of a challenge for the investigation, because we don't know enough. So we need to learn more. So ongoing, we do want to get that forensic analysis on the quill pen, which is believed to be the murder weapon. And that is underway. We would like to get better enhanced security footage. Again, not sure if that will happen, but it is underway. And we need to do some additional interviews with some library patrons, local residents, you know, just anybody who might have more information for us. The Ravenwood residents are in shock. They are in shock. They are scared. They're seeking answers. McCabe was very much loved in the community. Again, extremely famous. He brought a lot of tourism and attention to Ravenwood. And so his death is hitting people very hard. So next thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're waiting for that forensic analysis. We want to gather more eyewitness accounts, see if we can come up with some leads, and investigate any unusual activities or persons seen around the library, because as we know, Nora Thompson said that she saw that shadowy figure and heard that shuffling sound. So we want to get more information on that. Now, that is as far as I have gotten. You guys may have other ideas of what we need to do next, and want to share those here with us. If you have any questions about the case, you know, that's this is your opportunity to drop those questions and join in the kind of interview portion of the case. So this is your forum to do that. So yeah, I guess that's everything. I look forward to hearing from all of you. We were supposed to start a Discord chat. Actually, we were going to start it last week. I have not seen any significant interest in that. So I'm kind of holding off to see whether there is any interest. If you are interested in doing weekly Discord chats as we used to do, if you would just leave me a comment below and just tell me that that's something that you are interested in being a part of, then we will schedule that for next week. Not having any feedback of interest in that. I just have not put it on the schedule. So let me know if it's something you're interested in. We will definitely plan for that. All right, guys, I think that does it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you found it useful. At the very least, I hope you found it entertaining. If you liked what you saw, I hope you'll give me a great big thumbs up. It really does help. It helps not only my channel grow, but it helps to bring people into our investigative party here. And so the more of us there are, the more fun this is going to be. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll talk with all of you again very soon. Bye for now.